So we never really get the opportunity to photograph ourselves, right? Whenever we photograph ourselves, what do? We try to get that perfect angle, you know, get the top angle. So and obviously I've never had a picture taken from behind. So then I think that the back picture was one of the bigger eye openers for me because, you know, when you're in the mirror, you're kind of, you know, you're already sucking in the gut. You're kind of looking at yourself the way that you want to make yourself feel, right? So you're not really giving yourself a true representation of what you look like. So then when we got the back image, the front image, it was crazy to see. Like, I was like, I think I even asked him, I was like, is that really how I look from the back?
Yeah.
And then she was like, well, yeah, you know, but you get accustomed to it. And then the crazy thing is, this is coming from, you know, we did the Ironman in October of last year, right? So it's not like I was sitting on a couch doing nothing, right? Like we were pretty active. We trained for an Ironman 70.3, but it really wasn't until I dialed down the diet and really looked at what I was taking in, and that's when things started shifting and changing in my body and my facial structure. And I think the biggest impact that this has had for me, obviously aside from my physical appearance, has been who I've been able to impact going through this, right? So one of my sisters, my older sister,
that's awesome.
That's always struggled with weight her entire life. She was always known as one of the heavier set individuals in our family. And she was very hesitant at first, you know, putting herself in a position to do this. And then I really believed in her and I kept talking to her about it. So I got to the point where I was like, okay, you know, I'm just going to kind of leave her alone. I'm going to let her do her own thing. And I just kept going at it. And eventually she just ended up signing up on her own. And she had this great transformation. Melina, she was in your Charlie group.
She is in the Charlie group.
And I actually just messaged her yesterday because her results, it's just I'm floored by her results. It's just amazing.
But you know what's insane is like it didn't take the inspiration from you to necessarily get her going. No. It was the inspiration from you, Rio, and that's got to feel really good, right?
It was cool to get through to her, man. Because, you know, for us, we're in an environment where we're constantly surrounded by powerful people. You know, we have exposure to you guys. And it's hard to be able to tap into those people that aren't surrounded by this type of environment. And really the only way you can do that is by leading by example. So I said, you know what? I'm going to lead by example. Nilza, my wife, she signed up for the program. She's been phenomenal. She missed her first workout in the entire program just a couple of weeks ago, and she was devastated by it. She was more consistent than I was by 2 days. So she was like on this other level, like just seeing her step up and being like, oh, I can't miss. Like I haven't missed a single day. And then, you know, she, you know, things didn't line up the way we wanted that day, and then she missed her first workout. But seeing that level of consistency for her has been just great, because then she can take that level of consistency and apply that to something else in her life. You know, maybe she wants to start her own business. Maybe she wants to do something else. My son, you know, he's been going out there working out with me. You know, young buck, 12 years old. And, you know, just having him see that level of consistency and commitment, I know is just going to pay dividends in years to come.
And it has in all facets.
There was something that you said. I think that going back to Ironman, and same thing going back to Nilza. So I want to talk a little bit about that.
Nilza is his wife.
And the influence that you have in your family. So I always hear the whole family they're always in the gym. We're always active, and we're always, you know, working out. But nobody really talks about health. And something that you just said, you know, you did the Ironman and you just kind of came home and ate whatever you want, never dialed it on your diet. And I actually trained Nilza for a couple of years now, actually for quite some time. And Nilza was never right on her diet either, or her, you know, eating regimen the way she is now, only because she would come home and then you'd be eating like, you know, crap. So she was eating like crap. So it was kind of hard to say, hey, I'm going to have that willpower because those around you, you know, don't have it. So it's just like, well, you know, no one in my household is eating, so I'm going to eat like crap. But your guys' excuse was, I work out, so I can eat what I want. But yet nobody was losing weight. Nobody was losing weight. Everybody's seeing the same results. But hey, in your guys' mind, you're like, well, I'm working out, so I'm able to eat whatever I want. So when Nilza tried to go and started eating this healthy life, I remember that she went through it for a phase for about 30 days. Rio was not. And so in order for Nilza to do it, it's kind of like you all had to be part of it together in the crew. Because either half in or half out, but nobody really went all in. But in our household, I think it lasted for so many years now. Only because, again, I competed for so many years and it was just my life and it became my lifestyle. And so it's, you know, willpower at its finest in the very beginning. And then after that, it's just kind of like part of my life. But with AZ, he pretty much was 80% healthy and the other, it was kind of hard to pull in my direction only because
I got influenced a lot by my girls. You know, they're
Yeah.
younger, they're more active. So I've always seen you at that level, but I thought that was just for you. I had that same mindset, even though I knew how important
Yeah.
you know proper nutrition was. I always revert to the fact that I'm working really hard in this other aspect of of working out, especially through the Ironman days, right? It was like the 13-mile runs. It was a 3,000 meter swim. It was a 100-mile cycling. So we're going through this process weekly. So as soon as we can, we stop. We would stop by Starbucks, buy a couple of sandwiches,
even the girls,
burritos,
even the women.
all sorts of things.
I trained a lot of the women in my gym, and they would set their iWatch, and they'd be like, "Wow, Carla, it was 400 calories lost today." And yet they would drive away and go get a bagel.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you just gained all your calories. It doesn't work that way if you don't get that nutrition on point. It does not work that way. So they would come back and it's like, well, I'm not losing any weight. Well, you're not going to if you're not dialing in that diet. And that's what 30 days is about. It's accountability. It's to get it structured for you so you don't starve and you start to learn more about your body and what works and what doesn't.